Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to an episode of Beyond the Field. Today we are going to do it on my childhood hero, Mike Piazza. There he is, bobbling away.
Yeah.
Mike is Mr. Piazza is very close and dear to my heart. He is very religious, from what we learned about doing some research about him. He says it in his Hall of Fame speech. I know I was at his Hall of Fame speech actually.
Oh yeah.
And one thing I know, before he went to the Hall of Fame, like before he went to the induction ceremony, it was on a Sunday. He went to church.
Yeah, I did see that too.
Someone bumped into him at church and like, "What are you doing here?"
He's right. Yeah, he like the priest gave him a blessing, probably like during the mass or something. So yeah, that like shows you how humble he is, even on this, like the biggest day of his life, you know. But yeah, like you said, like very important to you growing up as a Mets fan. In like late '90s, early 2000s, he was the guy. You know, led them to a World Series, and just like an easy guy to root for as a kid, because you just saw how like humble he was on the field, but at the same time like an absolute stud of an athlete and player.
He was so strong, just like when he swung, like he had this crazy follow through that hit his back, and
the two-hand follow through.
Yeah, just the bat breaking on his back.
Yeah, I remember that too. Yeah.
Piazza, like I loved him. That's why I became a catcher. He was, you know, everyone has their favorite players as a kid, and Piazza was mine. And I remember we all drew mustaches on ourselves.
I was just gonna say, like, the mustache was iconic. You couldn't not love that.
You're a Yankee fan, but I still got you guys to do it. Yep. I changed Ryan for like maybe a year.
Yeah, a little more than that. Yeah, true, right. Like Ryan and I are like big Yankee fans now, but because of Mike Piazza, Ryan was like back and forth for so many years when he was younger. He was like, maybe I'm a Mets fan, like all because of Mike Piazza. And
he was in that remember that religious documentary that came out?
Champions of Faith.
Yes, he was in that. That's actually a good watch. I would watch that.
Yeah, it's like a short, like, kind of documentary movie, I guess, just about like certain baseball players that grew up with faith, like Catholic and Christian. So Mike Piazza was one of the featured athletes in that. It's pretty cool. That's good.
Yeah, and Piazza, like he kept to himself. He wasn't like starting his own charities and stuff like that. But he did like lend his time. He did Make-A-Wishes. I remember going to Shea Stadium as a kid and like seeing it up there about him playing video games with the kids and playing with them and doing the Make-A-Wishes. And we both came across the cereal bowl one, which is funny.
He was supporting a cause that was helping kids who were dealing with paralysis and
being paralyzed.
Yeah, so just different conditions.
Getting the house ready or whatever, you know, donating for that. But he had to eat. It was a big bowl, and he ate the cereal.
Yeah, it was some competition. It's a funny picture if you can like look it up online. Just this ginormous bowl of cereal, with a huge spoon too, and he's just shoveling it in his mouth. So he was like lighthearted enough to like do those type of things. But yeah, you mentioned like the charity work, or not. Some of the athletes that we've done prior to him were just like drilling home how much charity work they do and all the organizations they're part of. Piazza, not to his fault, wasn't just like spreading himself across so many different charities and doing all that stuff. He does have his things that he was involved with like you said, Make-A-Wish. Jason Taylor is a well-known football player who played in Florida, which is where
Dolphins,
with the Dolphins, which is where Mike Piazza lives, and we saw that he supports the Jason Taylor Foundation, which promotes quality of life for younger children in the South Florida area. So even though Piazza's not everywhere in the media with his charity work, you can see that he stays close to home with things that are important to him, and family being one of those things. So
after his career, he started his family, and you know, he for the times it was not social media heavy, and he still was followed, and never resting in New York, and to the point where he thought dyeing his hair blonde would stop people from recognizing him.
Is that why he did that?
Yeah, I remember. I don't know if my dad was joking with me, but that's what he told me.
Yeah, so probably could have. It was like frosted tips. Yeah, like blonde.
So he wouldn't be recognized. Yeah, he'd be like, "No, I'm not like Piazza." Like, he couldn't shave the mustache because that's so like part of his like look. Yeah. I mean, now he doesn't have it now, but like that when he played, that was, especially on the Mets, that was the iconic look, and that mustache, hand down.
Right. But yeah, like you're saying, played in New York, but didn't want to be like that celebrity. You know, just wanted to do his job, play well, and lay low.
And to bring this up, I remember like they would harass him, like get a girlfriend, do this, and like, probably like his Catholic faith, like he didn't want to be this like swinger and running around, and he found the one after, and he actually does a lot. He manages in Italy, and he lives there part time, and he has 3 beautiful kids, and his dad was such a big part of his life. I remember when he got his number retired, his dad was there crying, and he was like hugging his dad, and just like but I mean, I don't like his favorite player was that guy Smith on the third baseman on
Mike
the
Schmidt.
Yeah, that
Phillies.
was his favorite player ever.
Yeah.
He grew up a Phillies fan.
Yeah, kind of ironic.
Yeah.
Right? To then embrace the Mets fan base after that.
No, but he's like beloved in New York.
Absolutely.
There's like 3 I guess you could say David Wright's kind of at that level, but Piazza and Seaver were like the Mets, like Met fans love them, and that's our guys.
So I guess to bring up a big reason why is that home run for that game after 9/11. It was the first home game the Mets had after 9/11. The city was obviously just shocked and distraught and just mourning, and so fans were looking for something to just kind of like lift up the city.
It was a good game. It was tied.
Tied in the 8th inning.
The Braves at the time were such a heated rival. It was Yankee Red Sox heat. Like fans did not like the Braves. I grew up disliking the Braves so much, and I just I remember that. It was in the 8th inning too, so it wasn't like a walk off. It feels like it should have been a walk off, but you can see like how much it meant to Piazza because he was tearing up as he's doing his famous he didn't even want to go out there. He got pushed out there. That's how humble he is. He did not like to do the curtain calls. I don't know if you remember that or you just like remember highlights probably.
Yeah, no, I wasn't really old enough to watch and appreciate it at the time, but I've watched that highlight.
I was 11, so
yeah, it was crazy. And like you said, humble guy who, like after the fact, even to this day when he talks about it, all he wants to talk about is how the heroes of that day were the family and friends who like lost people during 9/11, or the first responders that then had to come back to their families, and he just wants to keep giving them the credit for how strong they were, and that he did a pretty good job in helping lifting people's spirits, but at the end of the day, like he just prayed during that game to ask God to give him the strength to do something good for these people, and he obviously did, but he just gives it up to God and credits the people that were struggling at that time and doesn't want to just say, I did that and I gave something to those people.
And they were down, as were Yankees and Giants and Jets probably.
Yeah.
But the Mets were down there, and they were talking to the firemen, trying to, and police officers, just trying to like give a, not that there could even be light at that moment, but just like trying to distract them a little bit.
Right.
And I remember Bobby Valentine, my dad called, cell phones weren't like a crazy thing, and they call, and like my dad put Bobby Valentine on the phone.
Really?
And he told me to be good and do my homework.
Wow.
And they were, they were all there and they signed stuff for the firemen, did whatever. They were giving out food. They were helping everyone.
Yeah.
As were every major sports team in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, Piazza. I put on highlights with Logan and I watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, he's a different type of player for me, and
yeah, for sure.
he's my all-time favorite.
Yeah,
who's your all-time favorite Yankee?
Oh man, I mean, to make a great comparison, like Jeter was that guy on the Yankees, so it's like when you're growing up at the age that we were, it's like Piazza and Jeter, they're the New York athletes.
Know why I would ask that. Sometimes I forget about Jeter.
Well, so Jeter is like the easy answer, but Jason Giambi was one of my favorite players. Just to watch, he just had a great swing, so I could give him a little credit too. So
my Jess's favorite was Gary Sheffield.
Sheffield was great too.
Gary Sheffield.
I mean, like that waggle at home plate, he got a pure swing.
Yeah,
so.
Piazza was my ultimate. Yeah. I always respected Jeter. I never disliked him.
And Piazza's the same way.
Yeah.
You grow up a Yankees fan, and you see Piazza, you respect the heck out of him, because you know how good of a guy he is. So like we were saying, the charity work isn't just off the charts, but he is far and away just a man of faith in all aspects of his game.
I'm 99% sure he's a deacon.
Yeah.
We couldn't find it online, but I remember seeing him that he baptized someone on his Instagram. He was just, you can't do that in the Catholic Church if you're not. Right. So.
And we think he's living in Italy part-time, and I think he was studying to become a deacon in Italy.
Which is amazing. Like you had this Hall of Fame career, top catcher of all time almost. Home run. He's the all-time
leader
in catchers, home runs, which is like what, 408 or something. 427.
Millionaire, beyond millionaire. Just could sit on his wealth and
he
his life.
Is throwing himself in his faith and making sure he goes every Catholic event that comes up. He even tweeted today about St. Joseph's Day. Yeah. So anything that comes up, he always makes sure his faith is out there on his social media.
Yep.
And that alone, I found this out later in life, and that made me love him even more. Yeah. Especially with what we're trying to do and everything. Right. And great guy all around. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
watching his home runs was something of magic. I'm sure, I remember when he's getting inducted, I'm sobbing.
Yeah, you can't help but not, it's like these athletes shaped your childhood in so many different ways, as we were glued to the TV watching them do incredible things, and it's you have that emotional connection for the rest of your life. Yeah. Whether or not they'll ever know it doesn't matter. It's they made you feel something, and that's important. It's cool.
Yeah, it's always to have that special athlete when you're young, and just
everyone has that.
People growing up now on the Giants, I don't know if they have anyone. So, not Daniel Jones.
We'll see. Jerry's still out on Daniel Jones. We'll see. But this was someone we had to do. We had to step into the baseball world.
We even had Eli on we did Eli last episode. Yep. We even had Eli. We were lucky. You had Jeter, I had Piazza. Even though Piazza didn't bring no championship, it felt like he did with his just having that special once in a lifetime player. Yep. And we are fortunate as New Yorkers, as New York fans, we had Eli. Yep. We had countless others that came through the Giants that were Strahan. Strahan was Strahan and Umanora, and you had countless Yankees. I've had maybe 2 Mets.
Enough. You need those guys.
Yeah, but it's just hold on to. Even though Piazza didn't come up as a Met, he feels like he's ours.
He was embraced.
He's not anyone else's. So when people I know I bet you other Met fans are the same way when people are oh, the Dot. No. Yeah, that's a Met. All right.
Right. Yeah, his best moments.
Sure. When they were oh, what's he gonna go in as? Oh yeah, I'm Met.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, we hope this brought some light to Piazza and just like showed his faith and like how amazing of a person he is, that he continues to strengthen his faith and
how much your faith can help you during your playing career. Not just post faith, but he lived it during and after, and relied on it very much to keep him calm and composed. As
he talks about it in his book too a lot, about how like he needed to pray a lot and just like
I'm sure.
get over the stress of like, because I remember he was in this huge slump, and he talks about it in his book, and the call to me is iconic, but to Piazza, he felt it. The fans would get on him and stuff, but I remember he was like over his last, like it was like 30 or something, almost 40.
Yeah.
And he cranked it off the wall, and the announcer goes, "The monster's out of his cage!"
Oh yeah. That was
and everyone went nuts.
Yeah,
and first thing, right up to the Lord.
Yeah.
But not that Jesus is, or God's going in there like angels in the outfield. But,
right.
Yeah,
I was thankful. Yeah.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoy this episode. Follow Mike on Instagram and all that. You can see his posts and he prays and all that. And big things coming. Mustard Seed.
Yeah.
We got
new
a podcast,
new
logo.
Yep.
And please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.
All right. Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
you.